This heartwarming story is about Kira, a woman pushed out, dismissed, and told she wasn't enough because she didn't have a child for her husband. She unexpectedly crosses paths with Trevor, a widowed father of 4 with a heart big enough to change a life. This story begins on the night 28-year-old Kira sat huddled in the corner of a bus shelter, shivering so hard her teeth kept clicking together. Her blonde hair hung in messy frozen strands, and her thin olive-colored dress was meant for indoor warmth, not a snowstorm in Buffalo. Beside her sat a small brown bag. It wasn't just a bag. It held everything she owned now. A change of clothes. Some old photographs. And the divorce papers that still felt unreal to her, papers her ex-husband Blake had shoved into her hands only 3 hours earlier. She wasn't crying. She was past crying. All she felt was numb, from the cold, and from the shock of how quickly her life had collapsed. 3 years of marriage. Gone. Because she couldn't give Blake what he wanted most, a child. She had tried everything. She had begged for options, adoption, treatments, anything. But Blake didn't want to hear it. His exact words still rang in her ears. "You're broken, Kira. What's the point of being married if you can't even do the basics?" And just like that, he threw her out. Her parents were gone. Her friends had drifted away because Blake didn't like her having relationships outside the marriage. Her cousin was overseas for 2 weeks. The women's shelter was full. Even the cheapest motel cost more than what she had left in her account. So there she sat, in the freezing cold, pretending she was waiting for a bus, even though the last one had already gone. For a moment, she wondered if this was how she was going to spend the night, alone in the snow, maybe not even make it till morning. She didn't even notice the people approaching until they were just a few steps away. A tall man in a dark navy coat stood in front of the shelter, surrounded by 4 kids bundled in winter jackets. His dark hair was dusted with snow, and even though his face looked tired, he had a calm, gentle kind of strength. The kids stood close. Eli, the quiet, thoughtful one. Caleb, energetic and always curious. Hunter, the one who never stopped asking questions. And little Ruby, the only girl, wearing a bright red jacket and watching Kira with wide eyes. The man studied Kira for a moment, her shaking hands, her thin dress, her small bag, and she immediately looked away, embarrassed. His voice was warm but concerned. "Miss, are you waiting for the bus?" Kira nodded even though she knew he knew the truth. The posted schedule made it obvious the last bus had already left. "It's 12 degrees out here," he said gently. "And you don't even have a coat." "I'm fine," she whispered, even though her voice shook. Ruby tugged on the man's sleeve. "Daddy, she's freezing. We need to help her." "Yeah, Dad," Hunter added. "We can't just leave her here." The man knelt so he was eye level with Kira, not to intimidate her, but to show he meant no harm. "My name's Trevor," he said softly. "These are my kids, Eli, Caleb, Hunter, and Ruby. We live a couple blocks away." He paused. "I'd like to offer you somewhere warm tonight. Just for the night. Just until you figure out what to do next. I can't leave you out here like this." Kira shook her head. "You don't even know me. I could be dangerous." Trevor gave a small, almost sad smile. "You're sitting alone in a bus shelter in a snowstorm with nothing but a small bag. The only danger here is what this cold might do to you." He gestured toward the kids. "And I have 4 children with me. I wouldn't be standing here if I had any bad intentions. Let us help you. Just tonight. I'll give you a warm meal, a place to sleep, and in the morning, if you want to leave, I'll pay for a cab anywhere you want." Ruby stepped closer. "Please don't freeze," she whispered innocently. Kira felt something break inside her, the last bit of strength she'd been pretending to have. "Okay," she whispered. "Thank you." Immediately, Trevor stood and wrapped his coat around her shoulders. "Let's get you home." Walking through the snowy streets, Kira realized just how weak the cold had made her. Trevor stayed close, steadying her, while the kids walked ahead like a little formation. They soon reached a warm, cozy 2-story house with lights glowing softly from the windows. Inside, everything felt like the exact opposite of the life she had just left. Warmth. Safety. Family. Children's artwork hung on the fridge. Toys were organized in colorful bins. The living room looked lived in the best possible way. "Kids," Trevor said gently, "go change into pajamas. I'll help our guest get settled. Before running upstairs, Ruby asked, can I make her hot chocolate too? Absolutely, Trevor said with a smile. He gave Kira a blanket, helped her settle on the couch, then disappeared into a bedroom and came back holding a sweater and warm socks. These belong to my wife, he said softly. She passed away about a year and a half ago. She would have wanted them to help someone. For the first time that day, Kira felt warmth, not just from the sweater, but from the kindness behind it. She changed in the bathroom, then returned to find a cup of hot chocolate waiting for her and a plate of sandwiches she didn't realize how badly she needed until she took the first bite. Soon the kids returned in pajamas, and Trevor helped them with homework while Kira ate quietly at the table. It felt like stepping into a world she had always wanted but never truly had. Little Ruby noticed her tears. Are you sad? She asked. Kira wiped her face quickly. No, sweetheart. I'm just grateful. After the kids were tucked into bed, Trevor made tea and sat across from her. You don't have to explain anything, he said. But if you want to talk, I'm here. Sometimes it's the quiet kindness of a stranger that breaks you open. Kira told him everything. Her marriage to Blake. The years of trying. The test results. The resentment. The coldness. The insults. And finally, getting kicked out. He said I was broken, she whispered. And I believed him. Trevor listened, really listened. When she finished, he shook his head slowly. Then Blake is an incredibly cruel man, and completely wrong about you. He leaned back slightly. My wife and I tried for years to have kids. We eventually adopted all 4 of them at different times. And they're mine in every way that matters. He pointed gently toward the upstairs. So trust me when I tell you this, the ability to give birth does not define your worth. Kira felt something inside her loosen, like a tight knot finally untying. A snowstorm kept the city shut down for days, which meant Kira stayed longer than planned. And during those days, she discovered what real family looked like. Trevor worked from home as a financial consultant, juggling meetings and school runs and lunchboxes and homework. It was chaotic in the most beautiful way. And the kids? They accepted Kira with surprising ease. Ruby declared Kira her new best grown-up friend. Hunter followed her around asking questions. Caleb wanted her opinion on everything he built with Legos. Eli quietly stayed nearby, offering silent company. One evening, Trevor told her, they like you. That doesn't happen often. When the snow finally melted, Kira knew she needed a plan. She couldn't stay forever, even though part of her wanted to. I should find a motel or a shelter, she said one morning. Trevor shook his head immediately. I have another idea. Kira looked at him curiously. I need help, he said. Running a business while raising 4 kids. I'm barely keeping up. I need someone here, someone who can help with meals, school runs, everyday stuff. He met her eyes. I'll pay you. You'll have your own room. It doesn't have to be permanent. Just let this be your safe place while you find your feet again. Kira didn't know what to say. You barely know me, she whispered. I know enough, he said. And I want to help. Not out of pity, out of respect. So she agreed. And that decision changed everything. Weeks turned into months. Kira found her rhythm in the Reed household. She learned which cereal Ruby refused to eat. Which jacket Hunter always lost. Which book Eli read over and over. Which sport Caleb wanted to try every week. She also found herself laughing again, real laughter, the kind she hadn't felt in years. Trevor noticed. You're good with kids, he said one evening. Ever thought about studying early childhood education? I am thinking about it, she admitted. For the first time in a long time. I'm thinking about my own future. By spring, she was officially enrolled in community college classes. Trevor was genuinely proud of her. One evening, Trevor came home from an important meeting looking stressed. The company wants me to oversee a project in Dallas for 6 months, he said. It's a huge opportunity, but I can't leave the kids, and I can't uproot them. Kira thought for a moment. What if none of you had to stay behind, she said softly. What if we all went? Trevor stared at her. You'd move to Dallas? For me? For the kids? You gave me a home when I had none, she said. Of course I'd go. Trevor sat down across from her, suddenly nervous. Kira. I need to tell you something. Her heart began to race. I've fallen in love with you, he said quietly. Not because of what you do for us, but because of who you are. Before she could respond, he added. I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know how I feel. Tears filled her eyes. I love you too, she whispered. You've shown me what real love looks like. Trevor squeezed her hands. And remember. I already have 4 children. I don't need you to give me a family. I just want to share mine with you. They moved to Dallas for 6 months. It was chaotic. Fun. Messy. Beautiful. When they returned home, Trevor proposed. And Kira didn't hesitate, she said yes instantly. The kids were Ruby, flower girl. Eli, Caleb, Hunter, ring bearers, all 3 insisted. During the ceremony, Hunter shouted. No objections. We love Kira. Everyone laughed. It was perfect. Years passed. Life moved forward. Kira earned her master's degree. She became a beloved early childhood educator. She adopted all 4 kids officially. And one bright summer day, at Ruby's high school graduation, the past came full circle. During her speech, Ruby said, My mom once told me that sometimes the worst things that happen to us end up leading us to the best things. She was thrown away because someone didn't see her worth. But that brought her to us. And she taught me that worth isn't about what we can or can't do, it's about how we love. Kira sat in the front row holding Trevor's hand, tears streaming down her face. She thought about that cold December night. The bus shelter. The snow. The loneliness. And the moment a man stopped, not because he saw a stranger, but because he saw a human being who deserved kindness. She had once believed her life was over. But that night was the beginning of everything. Sometimes the people who break us were never meant to stay. Sometimes the storms we think will destroy us are the ones that lead us home. And sometimes the family we end up with is even better than the one we dreamed of. Kira wasn't broken. She was just waiting for the right place, and the right people, to show her who she really was. And in the end, she found all of them.